Hello, everyone. My name is Jesse Lamb, and I am in the asynchronous section of this course. Today, I will be introducing the first section of Chapter 10, the case studies on the people who have died from laughter. So, the people we meet, two out of the three of them, the people who did die laughing, their names were Ruth and Willie. So, you guys might remember Ruth. She suffered a stroke in her bed, her eyes rolled back, and she convulsed with laughter for an hour and a half. She ended up just exhausting herself. No matter what the doctors could do, they couldn't revive her. She eventually entered a comatose and died within 24 hours. Upon review, the doctors found her third ventricle was filled with blood and hemorrhage on the floor of her thalamus. The other person we meet was Willie. He was the one who laughed at his mother's funeral uncontrollably and was quickly entered into a hospital. 2 days later, he was found lying unconscious at his hospital bed, and doctors ended up finding an aneurysm in an artery that compressed parts of his hypothalamus. And we're going to learn the hypothalamus is a very important part for the brain of experiencing laughter, and typically laughter that is unprovoked. I had a hard time finding literature about the sudden death of laughing, as it is a pretty rare case. There are plenty of studies on inappropriate laughter where people cry at something that's funny in an inappropriate way or laugh over the top. Um, and that is known as the pseudo-bulbar effect. But I ended up finding a couple of case studies about something I just couldn't help but share with you guys, and it all comes from a mass of confused neurons on our hypothalamus, and these are the case studies presented as follows. One study on a 3-year-old child he was admitted to the hospital with uprolling of eyes. He was unresponsive and drooling episodes that lasted several seconds. Later, an MRI revealed the presence of something called a hypothalamic hamartoma, and later he showed sudden, unprovoked, and uncontrolled laughing episodes, which are known as gelastic seizures. This is a 2020 case study that is currently under review. In 2018, a male adult age 40 presented. He had pretty significant past medical conditions and also a long-standing history of sudden involuntary laughter that happened several times a week. He exhibited mild cognitive defects but was otherwise well-oriented. An MRI ended up revealing a mass, which we know as a hypothalamic hamartoma. So what is that? Well, first, a hamartoma is just a non-cancerous tumor. It can actually be located anywhere in the body, and essentially it's just a mass of normal tissues and cells from the local area it grows. They end up just getting confused and build together in an unnatural way. So when this happens in our brain, specifically on the hypothalamus, it's called a hypothalamic hamartoma. These are specifically gray matter with large and small neurons interspersed with glial nuclei. So it just shows up as a mass, and it's essentially neurons that get together in an unorganized way. This can show clinically with features ranging from severity, from a pressure to laugh, to very debilitating seizures. Precocious puberty, which is puberty that hits at an inappropriate time, and cognitive developmental delays. It usually presents as a random fit of laughter, which we now know as gelastic seizures. So these seizures were first described in 1877 as a burst of laughter, only lasting for a few seconds. It wasn't until 1957 where they actually were coined the term gelastic seizures. These are just presented specifically from hypothalamic hamartomas, but they could also be caused by temporal and frontal lobe pathologies. They're very rare. Parents just describe their children as laughing at things that other people don't laugh about, so it can actually go unnoticed. But it can be treated. Long story short, they can do surgery on it. Best described as entering a plastic straw through the brain and getting a laser focused on this mass to break it up and remove it. And patients actually recover very well from the surgery. I found a cool video on a Nightline interview where they interviewed a family and a kid going through this that I sent to Dr. Greaser to share. But yeah, that is my presentation on the people who have died laughing and related case studies. Thank you so much.